RHOSLC Whitney Rose's daughter rushed to the hospital ICU. RHOSLC star Whitney Rose's daughter, Bobby, has been rushed to the hospital ICU. It is very scary for the mother of two, but what precipitated this emergency situation, and will she be okay? Keep reading for all of the details. Whitney Rose's daughter rushed to hospital ICU. The one thing about Whitney Rose is she loves to have fun with her kids. She and her daughter, Bobby, 14, showcase the silly things they do together on social media. In July, Whitney's followers went crazy when they participated in the viral Charli XCX Apple trend. They were dancing and having the best time, which led fans to ask how they maintained such a successful relationship. What's your secret to having an amazing mother/daughter relationship? I love that you two have fun together. You look like sisters. Super cute. Your daughter is so beautiful. I'm not like a regular mom, I'm a cool mom. You two ate this down to the core. It was also noted how much Bobby looks like Whitney's husband Justin. There have been questions about Whitney and Justin's marriage, and they have struggled since RHOSLC began. However, they have done their best to work through them and remain a peaceful and happy couple. The 5th season is currently airing and Whitney is in the hot seat, but that is not unusual. Now she will meet her close friends and co-stars more than ever as Bobby was rushed to the ICU via ambulance on Monday, October 7th. According to Us Weekly, she shared this via her Instagram story and has asked her community for prayers. Bobby had a severe asthma exacerbation, and as of now, that is all that is known. Followers who saw her story immediately started to send in prayers. Just saw your story, I'm praying for your daughter Whitney. Hopefully Whitney Rose will keep her followers updated on how Bobby is doing, because this is a nightmare for any parent. Whitney Rose drama. The moment Season 5 of RHOSLC began, Whitney Rose was already the center of a bunch of drama. She had issues with Meredith Marks over bath bombs, as it appeared she was copying Marks. First, it was jewelry and now it was bath products. It seems she can do no right, but there are many more episodes to come and Whitney still has a lot of fans who love and support her. Always Team Whitney. Mother leading the journey while we accompany her, Queen of the Hill. We will support you on every step of your journey. Finally, if all her tribe could keep Bobby in their thoughts and prayers per Whitney's request, she would be immensely grateful. Whitney Rose had always prided herself on being strong, fiercely independent, and deeply connected to her family. Whether navigating the drama-filled snowstorms of Salt Lake City or untangling herself from the labyrinth of rumors and feuds, her family remained her North Star. But one crisp November morning, her world was turned upside down in a way no housewives' feud could ever prepare her for. A normal morning interrupted. Whitney's daughter, Bobby, was the picture of health. A spirited 13-year-old who lit up any room she entered. That morning, she had complained of a mild stomachache, but brushed it off as nothing serious. Just nerves about the science test, she'd said with a shrug. Whitney, busy prepping for a luncheon with Heather Gay and some local philanthropists, had kissed Bobby's forehead and promised to help her study later. But by mid-morning, Whitney's phone rang. It wasn't the casual check-in call from Justin, her husband. It was the school nurse. Mrs. Rose, the voice on the other end trembled. You need to come immediately. Bobby has collapsed. Whitney's blood turned cold. Dropping everything, she raced to her car, barely registering the snowy streets of Salt Lake City. Chaos in the emergency room. By the time Whitney reached the school, Bobby had already been taken to the hospital by ambulance. Whitney burst through the ER doors, where Justin was pacing, his face pale and drawn. What happened? She gasped. The doctors are running tests, Justin said, his voice breaking. They don't know yet, but they've moved her to the ICU. Whitney's knees nearly buckled. The ICU. Those 3 letters carried a weight she wasn't ready to bear. When she was finally allowed to see Bobby, the sight shattered her. Her vibrant daughter lay in a stark hospital bed, her small frame hooked up to countless wires and machines. Her face was pale, her breathing shallow. Mom, Bobby whispered weakly, her eyes fluttering open. Whitney leaned over, brushing a strand of hair from her daughter's damp forehead. I'm here, baby. I'm right here. The housewives rally. Word spread quickly among the tight-knit Real Housewives of Salt Lake City cast. Within hours, Meredith Marks, Heather Gay, and even Lisa Barlow were texting Whitney. "I'm sending prayers and positive vibes," Lisa wrote, surprising Whitney with her uncharacteristic warmth. Heather, ever the ride-or-die friend, showed up at the hospital with food and blankets. "You need to take care of yourself too," she said, handing Whitney a cup of herbal tea. Even Jen Shaw, despite her legal troubles, managed to send a heartfelt voice message. "Whitney, I'm thinking of you and your family. Stay strong." The outpouring of support was overwhelming, but it didn't erase the fear clawing at Whitney's heart. The diagnosis. After hours of waiting, the doctor finally came in. His face was calm, but Whitney could see the strain in his eyes. "We've run a series of tests," he began. "Bobby has a severe case of bacterial meningitis." Whitney's breath caught. She barely knew what meningitis was, but the severity in the doctor's tone made her stomach churn. "We've caught it early," he continued, "but it's critical we monitor her closely. The infection can escalate rapidly." Whitney nodded, gripping Justin's hand. "What do we do?" "She's already on antibiotics, and we're doing everything we can. Now it's a waiting game. A mother's vigil." For the next 48 hours, Whitney refused to leave Bobby's side. She held her daughter's hand through every fever spike, every moment of pain. The nurses admired her strength, but inside, Whitney felt like she was unraveling. At one point, Justin tried to coax her into taking a break. "You need to eat, Whit," he urged. "I can't," she whispered, her voice hollow. "What if she wakes up and I'm not here?" In the quiet hours of the night, Whitney prayed. Though she'd always had a complicated relationship with faith, she found herself pleading with a higher power. "Please," she murmured, tears streaming down her face. "She's just a child. Let her be okay." The turning point. On the third day, the doctors began to see signs of improvement. Bobby's fever broke, and her color slowly returned. Whitney felt a glimmer of hope for the first time since the ordeal began. When Bobby opened her eyes and smiled faintly, Whitney nearly collapsed with relief. "Hey, Mom," Bobby croaked, her voice hoarse but steady. "Hi, sweetheart," Whitney replied, her voice trembling. "You scared me." "Sorry," Bobby whispered, managing a weak laugh. Rebuilding strength. Over the next week, Bobby continued to recover, regaining her strength little by little. Whitney was amazed by her daughter's resilience. "I just want to go home," Bobby said one afternoon, her voice tinged with frustration. "Soon," Whitney promised. Back at home, Whitney and Justin took extra precautions to ensure their family's health. Whitney even filmed a segment for the show, sharing her experience to raise awareness about meningitis. "This has been the scariest time of my life," she said, her voice cracking, "but it's also reminded me of what truly matters: family, love, and health." A new perspective. When Bobby was finally discharged, Whitney felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. As they walked through their front door, Bobby turned to her mother and said, "Thanks for not leaving me, Mom." "I'll never leave you," Whitney replied, pulling her daughter into a tight hug. The experience left Whitney changed. The petty drama of housewives suddenly felt trivial. She vowed to prioritize her family above all else, no matter how chaotic life in the spotlight became. As the cameras rolled during her first post-crisis confessional, Whitney summed up her journey with newfound clarity. "Life throws curveballs when you least expect them. But it's how you face them that defines who you are. I'm not just a housewife. I'm a mother, a fighter, and a survivor." The saga of Whitney Rose's family wasn't just another storyline. It was a testament to love, resilience, and the unbreakable bond between a mother and her child.